The following presentation is brought to you by Phoenix Creative Works. We do not represent the views and opinions by everyone with Phoenix Creative Works. We are merely voicing our own. And if you get offended, grow the fuck up.
Hello and welcome to Men Behind the Curtain, the podcast about everything and nothing all at once. I am Pitt.
I'm Eli. Hope y'all are doing all right. I hope you've had your Tylenol this week.
You know, I heard if you give Tylenol PM to your children, they only have autism at night.
One of my favorite ones is that, like, oh, I'm already autistic. I'm going to take the whole bottle and get super autism.
Super!
Which, if you're listening to the show, I assume you're probably more or less on the same page as us. But don't take advice from a motherfucker without an actual doctorate. Honestly, if they were anyone else, they would already have been sued for malpractice because they don't have a fucking license. No, my favorite part, I didn't catch it until the day after, is the soundbite who's like, nothing bad nothing bad can happen. It can only good happen. So with Tylenol, don't take it. Like,
which reminds me of the clip from The Office. You're like,
yes,
use small words. It's fucking great.
Somebody clipped it together. They played that one. Nothing bad can happen. It can only good happen. So me think, why waste time with it?
Well, what got me about it is he started going on. He's like, well, the Amish, they have 0 cases of autism. Motherfucker, the Amish don't even go to the fucking doctor unless it is like last fucking second needed life or death fucking thing. Okay? The reason the Amish don't have any fucking autism is because there's no fucking reports, because they don't take any fucking medication. They don't go to the fucking doctor. They fucking just do it right there in the middle of the fucking field. Okay? While they're raising a fucking barn. Oh shit, his arm fell off. Let's just sew it right back on.
Yeah, basically. Like, the way that it was described, and it actually made the most sense, was that God damn, hang on. I had something playing over here. I don't know if it's picking up on my mic. I'm trying to pause it.
It is. I was listening to it.
I was gonna play it here in a little bit. I don't know why this fucking thing. All right, I'm just gonna back out. It was a video I was gonna play here in a little bit because it's fucking hilarious. But shit, what were we saying?
Autism.
Because it, yeah.
Amish.
Oh yeah,
Amish
yeah.
autism.
Yeah. So yeah, they were saying that lack of diagnosis does not mean lack of condition, essentially. I'm paraphrasing it badly, but that was basically the energy. Like,
Well,
oh,
the thing is what you need to understand about the scientific method, okay? And this is coming from 10 years of schooling. This is coming from a doctorate in psychology and everything. Causation and correlation aren't related. They may run parallel, but causation does not, correlation does not mean causation. So they run parallel. You might have something that states, oh, well, more of the people that do this, they end up on this, but that's not the cause. That's just a correlation.
yeah.
So, sorry, the administration has for some reason decided to take out all of the scientific method into pretty much anything that they put out there, and the completely misleading an entire nation, or at least those that are willing to buy into bullshit that don't listen to what actually science says.
And I have heard two potential
Stay in
theories for
school,
this.
kids.
I've heard two potential theories to this, and they are both equally plausible. The first one is that they are about to introduce an alternative that's autistic free or some shit like that they all have their money in as far as stocks go. Or they're going to give it about a month or two. They're going to wait for the stocks with Tylenol to plummet, or they're predicting they'll plummet. And then they're going to buy up stocks, come out and say, oh, we were wrong. It's safe. And then they have already bought stocks so that when it goes back up, so do their profits.
Meaning
Both
it's
of those are equally plausible.
kind of the TikTok approach that they're doing.
Yeah, kind of. Because, I know that they sold that. I don't know what the details are.
Oh, that's pretty. Let's just say pretty much every billionaire that's in the Epstein files has now ownership of it.
Oh, gee, I'm so shocked. That would explain why some of those videos aren't getting traction right now.
Yeah.
which also he released the Amelia Earhart files, or he wants to declassify those. First of all, I didn't know that we had classified Amelia Earhart files. Second of all, that's the wrong files. But he's a dumb bitch and he can't read, so he probably doesn't know the difference.
Well, I'm not in them, so I can release these.
Right. Which I guess we could use that. We can just lead right into our cunt of the week. I actually have 3 candidates here. Well, I have 1 candidate and 2 honorable mentions.
I have a candidate. I don't know her fucking name, but I do know the story, so we'll go with that.
So the one honorable mention, and I'm not going to make an argument for it, but is Kash Patel, because who the fuck writes the word anti-ice on a bullet? And like, if it was actually, if y'all are listening, watching, and you don't know the story, so there was a shooting at an ICE detention center. Nobody who worked with ICE actually got hit. They were detainees that got hit. And the news report said that there were anti-ice imaging, anti-ice messages on the bullets. Kash Patel tweeted a photo. It is a unfired bullet with the words anti-ice fucking Sharpie. Obviously, we would be a little bit more creative than that. At bare minimum, it would say "fuck ice." So he's an honorable mention for cunt of the week just off of that right there, or as I like to call him, Cash Coke Eyes. I feel like he always looks. Whenever you see a picture of him, he always looks like he's like, "Did anyone else see that purple dragon with the mullet and the sunglasses and unicorn horn, or am I just crazy?" Like, that's always the expression on his face. The other, again, just a permanent nominee is Donald Trump. And honestly, like, the whole Tylenol thing is one. Also, what happened at the UN. He literally almost fucking cried over that teleprompter and the escalator. Like, if you're listening to his voice, he genuinely sounds like he's going to fucking cry. But
well, you can still go up them.
Oh, well, but the escalators failed to work on Rapture Day, so he couldn't even ascend the fucking escalators. But my argument for cunt of the week is going to be Laura Loomer. First of all, how is she only 32 years old? She's had all that work done and she looks like a purge mask. But second of all, she just went complete mask off, full fucking racism on Jasmine Crockett. Which, first of all, I will ride for Jasmine Crockett. That is our queen. And I will fucking stab a motherfucker for Jasmine Crockett. Least of all, Laura Loomer. If you don't know what I'm talking about, you can just look her up. Just look at Jasmine Crockett and Laura Loomer. Like, she went full fucking racist with her. God forbid Shaniqua pop a cap in my ass. Bitch, I wish she would.
Well, I just found the woman's name. And I'm going to use her title loosely. Dr. Harleen Grewal. And I don't know if that's how you pronounce her name. And I don't give a fuck because she's a cunt anyway. So she has been defending herself after a video has resurfaced of her joking that she doesn't give her best care to patients who do not support the Tangerine Tyrants. So basically, she was making a joke that if she's got all this MAGA shit in her fucking office, and if they have any type of negative reaction to it, she turns down the nitrous oxide to cause more pain in their procedure. What makes her even more of a cunt is she is a dental pediatrician.
Oh, wow. So I actually heard about the story. The reason I heard about her, and you know what? I'm actually going to give this one to you because on top of all of that, she is in Palmdale, California. She is copyright infringing on a dentist in Chicago. And that dentist in Chicago is getting 1-star reviews and shit happening to his business. He has no affiliation with her. So not only is, even if she's joking and not actually doing this, you treat kids, that's not fucking okay to joke about. What happened to protect the kids, motherfuckers?
They're protecting them. That's why their names have not been released in that e-file yet.
George Carlin said it best. They want dead babies to grow up, or I'm sorry, live babies to grow up and become dead soldiers. That's all they give a fuck for. That's really it.
Well, I mean, it's funny. It's funny how they're pro-life until the baby's born, and they don't give a shit.
Yep. Like, oh, and God forbid if you need like any kind of government assistance, like, oh, you should have had that before you got pregnant. And
yeah,
I'm not going to go down that rabbit hole.
We only have an hour-long show.
But yeah, so Harleen Greywall, Gruld, whatever the fuck. Yeah, so we'll go ahead and give her that. Yep, that's our cunt of the week. And I think I'm going to try to come up with an image for that. Like maybe a caricature of like J.K. Rowling, something like that. And we can just put it like front and center on the screen here.
You know, I just had a thought in my mind, but we can't put that on YouTube.
I was going to actually try something like that, but Copilot won't make that image. And honestly, I understand.
Well, that's with good reason. I mean, with good reason. I'm pretty sure ChatGPT wouldn't be able to do it either. So
I'm going to go ahead and moving on to the next subject, real quick. So I'm going to pull up this video that I was trying to play a little bit ago. Oh, now it wants to pause like I won't. So I got sent this video, and this was just peak white people shit.
And we know how I love white people.
So I want y'all to see the comment here. Maximum risk for absolutely zero reward.
Yeah, it's definitely a white person.
And I think I'm going to actually use the I'm going to use the letter. I can't remember what the fuck it's called. The abbreviation, acronym. Yeah, I'm going to start using this.
What the fuck? All right. As a white person, we don't all do that. I mean, you know, if it was like in a John Wick film, that would probably have been pretty fucking sweet, you know. But why? Why?
Like, look, I will give credit where credit is due. That takes amazing timing and hand-eye coordination. It does. But motherfucker, for what? What is the benefit here?
How many views does that have?
That is up to I don't know how many views it has. It has 36,000 likes. I'd have to go to this person's page. If it'll load. That particular video has 336,000 views on it. Honestly, it deserves more.
Well, that was the reward. I mean, he's which makes me kind of nervous for his next little stunt.
I don't think the guy in the video was the guy. I don't think that was his account. I think it was a video he found on the internet and just made the video. That's what I think happened.
All right. Well, this still makes me a little concerned for what he posts next.
Yeah, just white peopling.
What would white people do?
I guess just being random here. So some of y'all, and also for those of y'all who are listening and didn't watch it, he was chopping wood in midair. He was jumping, someone was chucking a log of wood, and he's swinging a fucking axe at it in midair, which if you don't have visual and you didn't watch it, it does sound kind of cool, but it also is like incredibly fucking dangerous. And
Picture,
honestly, if he
picture Joe Dirt jumping through the air onto a mattress, swinging an axe at a stump that was tied to a tree coming at him, or tied to a rope coming at him.
Honestly, that's not a bad analogy. Also, just as a side note, of unrelated to anything, of course, my fucking Wi-Fi is working now, even though I went ahead and turned on my hotspot on my phone, because of course it is.
Absolutely.
Moving on.
Moving on.
So I guess we can jump into a little bit of movie news here. So we've talked. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Say you want to talk movie news? I actually did get caught up to you and saw the latest Superman.
Okay. What was your thoughts with that?
Bring back Henry Cavill, please.
So my feelings on the subject.
Or Brandon Routh, for fuck's sake.
I didn't mind David Cornsweet. He had a good look to him.
He had a look to him, and I didn't mind David Cornsweet so much as, and I'll give props. Nicholas Hoult, phenomenal fucking Lex Luthor, fucking loved it.
I loved it.
But I was not really a fan of the script. I think there's a lot of things they could have done better, and I get that Clark Kent is this wholesome Kansas boy. But my God, when he was doing the Clark Kent stuff, I wanted to strangle him because he seems stupid. Clark wasn't stupid. Clark was intelligent, but he was goofy. Let's say he was on the spectrum.
Yeah, and that's one thing. So one thing this movie did point out, which I don't think gets enough attention, is the quote hypno glasses, which Green Lantern, Nathan Fillion, Guy Gardner's character, mentioned that they're hypno glasses. They're more than just glasses. They literally change what you're seeing. But on top of that, Christopher Reeve actually nailed this perfectly, is that his Clark Kent, he's so meek and so awkward that you could never mentally connect him to Superman. And they didn't really do that in this movie. And I don't think that James Gunn has I don't think he has any other method to creating a comic book movie, because this is the exact same formula that he did for Guardians of the Galaxy. This is the exact same method he did for the Suicide Squad. And honestly, the formula he used for Peacemaker was the same thing, just an extended version because it's a TV show. Now, there are certain elements as to why certain things work and certain things don't. And the scene with Mr. Terrific, when he's using his T-spheres and everything, phenomenal fucking scene. It is. But it was the exact same vibe as Yondu in Guardians 2.
Yep.
Which, again, phenomenal scene. A great showcase for
Michael Rooker is phenomenal.
Yeah. And it was a phenomenal scene for Mr. Terrific. It was a phenomenal scene for Yondu, but it was the same fucking formula. And it's now at a point, I don't think that James Gunn can make a solo superhero movie. I don't think he can do it.
No, and I think a lot of that might have to do with the side of the fence James Gunn sits on. Where and I kind of understand this, where it takes many people with a like mind to make a difference. But we're talking fucking Hollywood and movies, man. I mean, we get enough of this shit in daily lives. We see this fucking movie so we can escape to a completely different world. So, James, talking to you now. Get it together. Don't fuck up the DCEU. Okay? Learn to make a standalone superhero movie. Go see Zack Snyder. He'll tell you how to do it.
And at this point, I kind of just want him to just hand it off. You're supposed to be the Kevin Feige of DC Studios. Be Kevin Feige. Step back. You can have an overarching vision for where the movies are going, but you yourself do not have to helm the ship. Like you, or that's probably not a good analogy, but you yourself don't have to have your hands in every single project. You can steer everybody in the right direction, but you don't have to micromanage each individual project. Um,
How long before we see Taika Waititi do a DC movie?
oh God, if he does, I'm out. You know what? Let me take that back. There are a couple of characters that Waititi could do really well with. Elongated Man is one of them. He actually could make a good Elongated Man movie.
Yeah, but how many people really give a shit about Elongated Man?
The Flash actually did help with that a little bit because he was a character in that, so it did create some knowledge of the character. However, I do want to point out it is a shame that Jim Carrey is the age that he is, because can you tell me a better guy to play Elongated Man than Jim Carrey? Genuinely. Like, he could have been fucking good. Honestly, that's The Mask.
Yeah. Yeah, if you think about it.
But a couple of things that I did like about the movie, I will say. You already mentioned Nicholas Hoult as Lex Luthor. Phenomenal job. I actually like the fact that his sole motivation in this movie, he was just a fucking hater. That's all there was to it. I think that they are setting up Bizarro because you find out that spoilers, you find out that Ultraman is a clone of him, but not as smart. And then he gets sucked into a black hole. I think that the Bizarro that we know from comics is going to be a product of whatever happens to him inside that black hole. And when he comes back, he will look like the Bizarro that we're more familiar with, I think is what's going to happen. And that is a really cool twist on Bizarro. What else was it? Oh, the message from his parents. I don't like what they did. I actually think that Russell Crowe as Jor-El is probably one of the best versions that I personally have seen of Jor-El. However, I think that what James Gunn did makes Superman a better and stronger character. Because the reality is, if he wanted to be a worldwide dictator, like the Injustice storyline, he could. And there are very few people who could do shit about it. He chooses to be of service and to help people. So him choosing that in spite of what his dad is telling him to do, I think actually makes him a stronger hero for it.
I can agree with that.
But speaking of Henry Cavill, that's you actually gave me a good segue for that. So we've talked about before the Highlander reboot that they're doing.
Yeah.
I unintentionally called this. So for those of y'all who don't remember when I brought this up a few weeks ago, apparently Drew McIntyre, who is a native Scottish, if you watch WWE, he carries a fucking claymore to the ring. Well, he used to. He doesn't do it so much anymore. Now he just does it more for like the big events or whatever. But he's like 6'5", purebred Scottish, will play Henry Cavill's brother. I didn't mean to put that out into the universe, but I'm not fucking mad about it.
I'm going to be pissed if they name him Duncan.
Oh, I would be so pissed off at that. I don't know if I want Cavill. If they're going to do anything, I want him to be Connor. I don't want him to be Duncan. Now, in the original movies and show, Duncan is more of a second or third cousin because I think they're like 50 years apart.
Yeah.
I would rather Henry Cavill play Connor McLeod, Christopher Lambert's character, or someone new entirely. I don't want him to play Duncan. I love Duncan. I thought Adrian Paul was a great Duncan McLeod, but either go back to the beginning and do it all over, or just change course. Which honestly is not far off from the same complaint that I've made like with Star Wars. I'm kind of tired of the Skywalker saga. I'm tired of that family. If you want to add more to the universe, go like 100 years into the future where the Skywalkers no longer matter, or go like 500, 1,000 years into the past before anybody gave a shit who they were. And Darth Bane is a really good opportunity. I'm just throwing that out there.
Well, the problem with Star Wars is Skywalkers are always going to exist, regardless of how far back you go or how far in the future you go. There's always going to be that tainted bloodline in the Star Wars saga.
The thing is again, and I've made this argument before. Darth Bane created the rule of two. It's a trilogy of books. If y'all like to read, and if you like to read Star Wars books, I do highly recommend to check them out. But honestly, for the sake of the movies, I don't need all three movies, or I don't need all three books made into it. I just need one. Because the first book ends with him destroying the Sith Order and choosing his apprentice. That is the end of the first book. And as far as I'm concerned, I don't need anything else to this story.
You need Revan.
I do want to see Revan. I 100% want Revan. Even Revan,
or even Exar Kun.
Exar Kun is a good one. Darth Nihilus is one that I would like to see, because he was a literal planet eater. There's a lot of them. Hell, you could even. I was about to say Asajj.
You could even do the Dark Sisters.
Yeah, I was about to say Asajj Ventress, but she's part of the Clone Wars and she still interacts with Skywalker. So I would like to see her story more, but I did just say to get away from the Skywalkers. But speaking of that, and I can springboard with that one. I saw an article this morning. Ewan McGregor, sorry, was talking about, the return of Obi-Wan Kenobi. And unfortunately, the news here is that there is no news. Nobody has called him. I am on the fence with this subject because I very much enjoyed Kenobi. I was a lot less critical of it than a lot of people were. And I'm actually okay with this being the end of that story in live action. I'm okay with it because we've now established he's been watching Luke from afar. He did go help Leia. He has reconnected to the Force. He's reclaimed his role as a Jedi. But most importantly, he got that other confrontation with Vader. And I think I've talked about this on here before. The reason I like that specifically is that at the end of Return of the Sith, he still sees Anakin. He just fought and left him for dead, but he still sees Anakin. And at the start of A New Hope, he's calling him Darth seamlessly. Now, the real world version of that is, New Hope was made first. They didn't write in that pre-existing relationship, at least not more than like the bare framework of it. That's the real world reason. But the in-universe reason, we did need a transition. And we got that. I would say we got it beautifully. When, after he cut Vader's helmet and he has that scene like, oh, my friend is truly dead. And he walks away, he calls him Darth and walks away. And I thought that was a great transition between Ewan McGregor, Obi-Wan, and Alec Guinness, Obi-Wan. Or at least the way that they view Anakin / Vader. I thought that was a perfect way to write that.
No, I completely agree. And as a sound editor myself, the overlay of Vader's voice and Hayden Christensen's voice as Anakin, that overlay when the voice compressor was damaged was just absolutely brilliant and phenomenal work by that sound crew. Which I don't, and again, I might be a little biased, but I don't think the sound design individuals get as much credit as they should.
I can agree with that because whenever I've seen something like that, I think about this one. Conan O'Brien did a segment on one of his shows a while back, and he was showing like what the soundstage looks like and how they make different noises and everything. It's Conan O'Brien, so he turned it into a bit and was having fun with it. But when he's showing you how they make certain noises, it's amazing. Again, we've talked about, with Valmont, some of the the sound work that you do. It's incredible. It takes a lot of work. But yeah, like when you do that in like with practical effects and everything, it does such a good job. But another thing about this scene, and I have one image here. I'm looking for another one. Another thing about that scene with Obi-Wan and Vader that I absolutely loved is the lighting. And so
Yeah.
I'm gonna go ahead and share. Oh wait, nope. I clicked view image. That's not what I wanted.
The glow of the lightsabers,
Yes.
the red and the blues. Yeah.
So this was the first part when Obi-Wan breaks the mask and he's looking at him and he's actually like a little bit heartbroken, and it's all blue light in illuminating the screen on Obi-Wan and Vader's part. And I couldn't find the image of Vader in all blue. I couldn't find it. But then when he starts talking and says, "You didn't kill Anakin Skywalker, I did." And then it flips to this, and you get the red coming back. And actually, there was a better image here. The use of lighting in that scene, the blue to red, was so fucking good in the ambiance and the scene setting. Um, the sound design, yeah, they did an incredible job with it, especially the overlay you're talking about with Hayden Christensen and Obi-Wan or Darth Vader. And I love how they did that too, because at first Hayden Christensen's voice is the stronger one, but then as it turns red, they flip it and the Darth Vader synthesizer becomes the stronger one, and you hear more of that. And I love the symbolism in that scene. That was incredible. Um, do more of that.
Just with different characters.
Yeah. I still need to get. I still haven't watched Andor. Don't kick my ass for that one. But um, in my defense, I actually
It's
started watching another horror series on Netflix, The Midnight Club. That was made by
nice.
Mike Flanagan. Um, I'm just trying. It's hot. It's October. Well, it'll be October by the time y'all watch this. We're officially in spooky season, so I wanted to watch some spooky shit. Um,
So yeah, Andor just makes Rogue One even more sad. I'll just tell you that.
I can see that. Considering that Cassian Andor is in Rogue One, so you start to get more attachment to some of those characters, as well as what is Forrest Whitaker's name? Garrus or something like that. Uh,
Um, Shit, it's right there at the top of my head. Guerrero.
Guerrero, yeah. I know he shows up in Andor. Of course, Cassian Andor is the main character. It would make sense that some of the other characters show up because it's a lead-in. So I can see where it makes Rogue One a little bit sadder because you actually get to know them like on a more human level. So, oh, and actually, speaking of that, when I say on a human level, I'm going to backtrack a little bit here. This was another scene from James Gunn Superman that actually I thought was really, really fucking good. Is his speech that I'm as human as anyone. I actually thought that was a really good scene for Superman, and kind of showcasing like, yes, technically he's not a human per se, but he has as much, if not more, humanity than most people. So I thought that was a really good scene for him. I just wanted to backtrack to that. But yeah, Andor, I can see how it humanizes and you get to know more of those characters up front.
Oh no, it makes it even more sad than that.
I'm not surprised. I mean, hey, if it can make me feel something, that's cool because I'm mostly dead inside.
It makes you want to go, God damn it! I hate how Endor or how Rogue One turned out now. Because Rogue One, great movie. It could stand alone from the Star Wars universe and be its own movie. You didn't even have to tie in Star Wars and it'd be a phenomenal movie.
Actually, that
But
reminds me, I'm going to start my son on those movies.
but I mean, the way Andor ended, it makes Rogue One a very heart wrenching movie.
Okay. Well, I will probably go back to prioritizing that here pretty soon. I think part of the reason why I haven't been watching it is we have the commercial version of Disney Plus. Also, well, you know what? I'm going to get to that here in a second. But we have the commercial version of Disney Plus, which makes watching anything just a tiny bit annoying. Like, we've watched commercials all our lives. I shouldn't care that much. But when I can watch anything on Netflix with no commercials and then I get a commercial here, it's just a little annoying. Just a little bit. But speaking of which, Disney, y'all's award for cunt of the week or Bob Iger, I'm willing to put that in escrow for right now because they brought Kimmel back.
I'm not. I'm not, because they could have avoided cunt of the week by actually standing up for what's right, as opposed to doing what they're told and bowing down to the Mango Mussolini.
Fair enough. And I actually like that Trump told on himself in that because he kept saying that, oh, the FCC didn't force anything. The White House had nothing to do with it, yada, 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 yada. But he put out a tweet on his tweet on Temu Twitter that ABC told the White House that Jimmy Kimmel was fired. Why would they tell the White House anything if the White House was not part of that decision-making process in the first place? You fucking moron. He tells on himself constantly.
Oh, yeah. Well, he's an idiot. What do you expect? I mean, honestly, this shit couldn't even be written by the fucking Onion.
We're now in a world that 10 years ago, if you saw an article from the Onion, you know it's the Onion. You don't need to see who published it. It's just inherently ridiculous, and this could never happen in real life. We're no longer in that world. You see a headline, I don't know if it's real or not.
Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah. I mean, you mentioned, they put Kimmel back on the air, which he came into his opening monologue to 6 million viewers, which is phenomenal. But the fact is like, because they lost what, $3.8 billion within like 2 days, 3 days.
That is true.
And we pulled our Disney Plus subscription, and I'm actually still going to wait a little bit longer before I pick it back up, because I don't want them to say, okay, we're going to put it back on so we can get all that 3.8 billion back. No, I want them to actually make the fucking changes before I actually, be like, hey, here you go. It's like, if I got to go miss a couple Marvel movies here and there, then I miss a couple Marvel movies here and there.
Yeah, I mean, hey, they'll be there when you come back, if you decide to come back.
Yeah, well, I'll see them on. Eventually, they'll be on Prime or something like that, which isn't much better than Disney because it's Bezos. But
at least he's not openly a fucking cunt.
Oh no, he is. He's just better at not being loud about it.
Yeah. Honestly, at this point, I think the closest thing we have to an ethical billionaire is Mark Cuban, because like his website where he was selling prescription drugs, he's selling them at cost. You can pay out of pocket, you pay them at cost. There's no markup whatsoever. Honestly, like, cool. Yeah, that was good of you to do. You didn't have to do that, and you did. I'm sure.
Yeah,
I'm sure if I go looking, he's done some shit that I wouldn't like. But
he's still a cunt.
That's why I said probably the closest thing we have to an ethical billionaire, and I'm being very careful about that verbiage because I don't know that there is a such thing as an ethical billionaire.
And it's probably somebody in the rock industry or music industry.
Maybe. I mean, yeah, Taylor Swift is a billionaire, although I don't care. I don't listen to any of her music.
Well, I mean, I stopped listening to her after the whole Mr. Swift debacle in Kansas City. Still don't like the Chiefs. But
the only thing I will say, I was talking to my son about it one time. And I was just mentioning how the music industry is not built for the artists; it is built for the suits, basically. I don't care about Taylor Swift one way or the other, but the fact that she had to re-record all of her music so that she could own her own music, that's kind of bullshit.
Yeah.
Nobody should have to do that.
Yeah. No, it's absolutely right. It wasn't it John Fogerty from CCR actually plagiarized himself. Which is like in the 80s he plagiarized himself, and
Yes.
the record corporations came after him for his own fucking music.
Yeah, no, I remember I read about that court case. They said that basically like he stole his own sound, and the defense was, and they won, by the way, to my knowledge, was like, of course it sounds like that because it's the same fucking guy. That's like saying Elton John sounds like Elton John. Of course it does. So to my knowledge, they won. John Fogerty did not have to pay any damages. They won the lawsuit, to the best of my knowledge, for that reason, which should have been common sense, but we know that common sense is not a real thing.
Well, I mean, especially in today's day and world. So, I mean, we can get on a soapbox about it, but again, we only have a hour-long show. Speaking of which, apparently, we have a couple catastrophes.
Oh yeah, no, and I actually know that John put one of the discords. I'm gonna go grab that real quick.
Oh, I've got it right here.
Oh, okay.
This is who would you want to be trapped on a spaceship with when aliens attack?
So I would say it probably would have helped if he'd have given you like how many people on your team, because that matters. I could say Wolverine or the Hulk, but honestly, that's not a good idea in a spaceship, especially the Hulk.
Well, I mean, he did not fare too well against Thanos.
That's true. But I'm just thinking about what he did to the Helicarrier in the first Avengers movie, and you know what? And that was still on Earth. Like they could still try to crash land in the ocean and be okay. If he blows a hole in the side of a fucking spaceship, we're all fucked. But who would I want? So I see a couple of times where John picked out 3 people, so I'm going to go with 3 people. I'm going to agree with his pick for Magneto, first off. And honestly, I think Magneto by himself is enough, because he can just fucking crush the opposing spaceship. He can just, all right, we're done here.
Unless it's made of an aluminum alloy.
And speaking of that, I'm going to pick Franklin Richards for my second one. And at that point, we're probably done here, if I'm being honest.
Which version of Franklin Richards?
I'm going to go with a more like an older version where he has a little bit more of a handle on his powers. Okay. So yeah, that's basically completely reality warping. I could have said Legion, but honestly, that's as dangerous to me as it is to them. For a third one, let me see. Let me go outside of Marvel here. I was about to say Cyborg, but you know what? Let me go outside of comics entirely. Cyborg is a cheat code. Let's be honest. Anything technological, Cyborg is a cheat code. Although Franklin is too. Let's see. Fuck John Wick.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Okay. I mean, yeah, you just have to get him on board the other ship.
Right. Either that or he could just lay in wait for anybody who wants to board.
That's true. See, for me, my answers would be different. For first thing I need to know is what kind of aliens. Are we talking? If we go from Star Trek, we talking the Borg, we talking Klingons, we talking Romulans. You know, are we talking Ferengi? And if we go to other sci-fi, I mean, it all depends on which aliens are the aggressors.
I think xenomorphs might be like a worst case scenario. The
Okay.
xenomorphs are possibly maybe predators, but I think xenomorphs is worse.
All right. So if we come across a ship of xenomorphs. Well, I am going to take one from Marvel, and I'm going to take one that you mentioned but dropped. I'm going to take Wolverine. I mean, there's nothing popping out of that chest. He's not going to be implanted. His body will shoot that thing out. I mean, I could even went Deadpool because it's not going to make a fucking difference.
Wolverine is probably a safe bet because, xenomorphs bleed acid and it'll hurt him, but it won't hurt him. Like, he'll just heal.
Yeah, and let's see. Xenomorphs. Well, I'm gonna have to, if we're going to get xenomorphs, I'm gonna have to take the queen of killing them all and the queen of the xenomorphs herself, Ripley.
Yeah, okay.
I mean, and who wouldn't want Sigourney Weaver on board anyway?
That's a fair point. This is what she does.
Yeah, and oh, I think the next one might be see, this was a toss-up, and I can't remember the character's name, but remember Edge of Tomorrow with Tom Cruise?
Yeah.
Where the day kept resetting for him. Yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, how beneficial would that be? He dies and all of a sudden wakes up and he knows exactly where to turn. Yeah. Or you can take Chris Pratt's character in Tomorrow War.
So if you're going to go with Edge of Tomorrow, just my personal preference, I would more take Emily Blunt's character over Tom Cruise. And I say that because she was more of a soldier than he was.
True, but now you're putting Emily Blunt and Sigourney Weaver on the same ship as me.
Okay, that's...
How dare you? How dare you?
You know what? That's fair. Yeah, those aliens might just have to wait a minute.
A minute? Try a couple days.
So I'll give you that one.
I've got water and cookies and cigars. I'm good.
All right. So you said you had a couple other ones then?
Oh, those would probably be my three. Yeah.
Oh no, I meant, did you have any other the catastrophes
here? Let's see. I think the last one we had was from last week. Because they put the spoilers on and everything, so I gotta.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that was from last week. So
let me see if I. Ooh, that was one I actually meant to. Yeah, we got time. We can do this one.
All right.
Tell me an actor that is like uncomfortably like too good at playing a villain. I can think of at least two off the top of my head. One of them we're probably both thinking of.
Uncomfortably too good at playing a villain.
Like to the point you don't know if you would actually trust them in real life.
Al Pacino.
Possibly one of the best Lucifers I've ever seen.
I honestly, after seeing that fucking movie, and out of every Al Pacino movie I've ever seen, but that one in particular, it's like I don't want to cross the street with this guy because I don't know what the hell is going to happen. I mean, Al Pacino, I think, is very comfortable and too good at playing a villain.
He is incredibly good. I'll give you that.
And I would probably say, and doesn't play many villains, but when he does, he plays the hell out of villains. And I'd say Cillian Murphy.
Okay. I'm okay with that. Cillian Murphy, yeah, he's actually phenomenal. Like I feel like he's underrated. Like, I do see him a lot, but I do feel like he's a little bit underrated as an actor.
Oh yeah. Oh, without a doubt.
So the two that I was thinking of, and one of these is probably not going to be a surprise because I believe I've mentioned him before, is J.K. Simmons, for starters. He played Schillinger in Oz. He played, I don't know what the fuck his name was in Whiplash, but he was verbally, emotionally, and physically abusive to his fucking students. He's fucking Omni-Man, which is an evil Superman. He fucking terrorized an entire planet. God, there's another one off the top of my head. I can't think, but he voice acted somebody else, and I can't remember who. But he is crazy good at being a villain. Like, he can be hilarious, though. Like, I loved him. I don't think there was ever going to be a better J. Jonah Jameson in my lifetime. I don't think there's ever going to be a better one.
He even had the look for it, which was even scary.
Yeah. My other pick, as much as I love him as an actor, is Jeffrey Dean Morgan.
Yeah.
Because he's so good. He was so good as Negan, at least when Negan was a good character.
Even in Those Who Live, you know, with him going around with Maggie and stuff like that, it's not like he's still a good guy. You know, he's more of that anti-hero, kind of a semi-antagonist in a way. He's just a guy who's like trying to figure out where he's going and to survive without, you know, all he cares about is not dying. And he's not going to care who he fucks over. But he does have that hint of a conscience about him that needs to help people out in need. And what's interesting about that is if you even take the Walking Dead series when he played Negan, when he was such a fucking badass, he still was trying to protect people in his own way, even though it was very heinous at times. But he was still trying to protect people to survive through whatever the fuck was going on. He just had a very violent and sick way of going about it.
Yeah. There was a line in the comics where this is about when they first came across Negan and he made some of his demands about, you know, give me half your shit. And and somebody was asking, like, basically, is he fair? And he's like, his rules are weird to say the least, but if you play by his rules, he is actually fairer than you would expect him to be. But then you have him as, what's his name, the Joker in Watchmen?
Yes.
Or no, the comedian. The comedian. He was a shitty dude in that. Like how, like, he literally tried to rape Carla Gugino's character. He plays Conquest in Invincible, who is another. I don't remember what the hell their race is, but what Omni-Man is. He is a fucking roided out version of what Omni-Man is.
And it's Negan still going after fucking Glenn.
It was. Although Glenn got his lick back in that one.
They probably wrote it in that way. It's like, okay, we're going to give Steven Yeun, you know, an opportunity to kick the shit out of Jeffrey Dean Morgan for once.
He did. And even though he would have been more of a good guy, everybody that I have mentioned that I am heartbroken we did not get to see. We saw him as Thomas Wayne in the opening scene of Batman versus Superman.
Oh, here we go again.
We did not get to see him as Flashpoint Batman. And whenever I bring that up to somebody, I get the same reaction that, God damn it, he would have been so good in that role.
Oh, I'm not denying he wouldn't have been good, but my God, you bring this up every fucking week.
I'm just still mad about it. That's
Doesn't matter. We don't have to be on the podcast. We can sit around, have a beer or whatnot, play cards, and it's like, you know, who would have been a great fucking Batman.
And actually, so just one other thing I was going to bring up. I saw an article this morning, going back to a little bit of movie news here. Where the fuck did it go? So apparently, I didn't know about this, but apparently early in his career, M. Night Shyamalan was actually dubbed as like the next Spielberg, which I think might have actually like cursed him a little bit, because he has phenomenal movies under his belt. The Sixth Sense, of course, we all know that. I loved Split. I loved Unbreakable. Glass, not so much. Signs was a popular movie. I was on it, but I feel like they put too heavy a burden on his shoulders for that.
I think because he's also responsible for the debacle that was The Last Airbender.
Yeah, I kind of knew that was coming.
I think with Shyamalan that if you keep him in the suspense thriller realm, like he did with Sixth Sense, Signs, The Village, movies like that. And don't get me wrong, I actually like The Village. I just think there could have been things that were done a little bit better. It's slow in some parts. But I think if you keep him on that suspense and thriller genre, and you get him a really good producer who can basically tell him, no, we're not fucking doing that, he probably could be as big a name as Spielberg. But I think it takes the right genre, the right script, and the right people being able to tell him no.
And yeah, I'll agree with that. I think what a lot of directors need to learn is basically like, what specifically are they good at? You brought up Avatar: The Last Airbender. I never would have given him that anyway. Like, he was great with a couple of his other movies, but those were so far removed from Avatar, I just wouldn't have done it. I talk about After Earth a lot. After Earth conceptually was a decent movie. Conceptually. The whole thing coming to Earth like 1,000 years after mankind has left, everything has evolved to basically kill humanity here. And you've got this weird fucking creature that can like smell the pheromones from fear and everything. Conceptually, it's a very interesting movie. It was horribly executed. And I'm not even blaming Will and Jaden Smith for that. First of all, Shyamalan or somebody should have kept them accountable to not drop the fucking accent halfway through the movie. Yes, that is partly their fault, but the fact that the editors, the writers, the directors, the producers, well, I said the writers, that's not really their fault either, but the fact that they let them get away with it, with dropping the accent, that was a bad choice on their part. And I've made the argument that I think a movie like After Earth, in someone like Spielberg's hands, could have actually been a good movie. Sci-fi is just not what Shyamalan should be doing.
No.
But yeah, another one that you didn't mention was like The Visit, where those kids are meeting their grandparents for the first time. They've never met them. Like, that was a good movie with a really good twist at the end. I thought that was a good return to form for Shyamalan. Like, he does very good movies in his lane.
Yeah. Saying your name, M. Night.
Shyamalan.
All right. Well, again, thank you everybody for tuning in to Men Behind the Curtain, and as always, we'll see you next time.
Well, or to be more specific, we'll see you next Tuesday. Y'all have a good one. Be safe out there. Take care.
All right. Be you.